Winning an Academy Award stands as one of the highest honors in the film industry. Throughout its 95-year history, the Oscars have marked numerous historic moments, none more significant than Hattie McDaniel's groundbreaking win. Today, we are joined by best-selling author Reshonda Tate, who will shed light on McDaniel's enduring legacy and her latest work, The Queen of Sugar Hill. Reshonda, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So this book is hot on the press, released just last month, and it's a novel of Hattie McDaniel. What inspired you to write this book?
So it is historical fiction. It's rooted in the facts, and then the fiction is the filling in the blanks. But you know, when I first discovered Hattie McDaniel, I didn't like her. My grandmother loved Gone with the Wind. I hated it. And she asked why, and I said, because she's playing this maid and she's so over the top. And my grandmother said, well, she's playing a maid and I am a maid. So why are you looking at her with disdain? And then she said, plus it's 1939. What did you expect her to play, Scarlett O'Hara? And it was then that I started to look at Hattie McDaniel in a different light.
So how was the researching process of this book?
You know, I have been researching for 3 years. I was just dumbfounded with, number one, all we did not know. There was so much about her that I discovered. But then, you know, I had to go beyond the internet because a lot of the information on the internet was wrong.
Really?
So I was just shocked at the erroneous information. So I had to go to research libraries. I went to census records. I dug through old newspapers, really getting into the life of Hattie McDaniel.
Yeah. And now, can you talk a little bit about Hattie McDaniel's win at the Oscars in 1939?
It was a momentous moment because no black person had ever been allowed at the Oscars other than a janitor or wait staff. So the producer of Gone with the Wind had to fight to get her invited. Now she was there, but she was all the way in the back of the room. Now when we look at that, we're like, that is so tragic, and it was, but for Hattie McDaniel, she was like, but I'm in the room. And that is something that had never happened before. So I shifted my thinking, and so she was happy to be in the room because it was a first step.
And now after the Oscars win, most people would assume that her career kind of took off, but that's not the case, right?
That's not the case at all. In fact, that was part of her big struggle. White people did not like her because Mammy was too sassy. Black people didn't like her because they felt Mammy was a demeaning stereotype, and she just wanted to act. She loved what she was doing, but she got so much hate, and the black community really let her have it. The NAACP waged an all-out war against her just because they hated the demeaning stereotypes. They were well-meaning, but they did it at the expense of Hattie McDaniel and actors like her.
And I feel like we kind of saw a little bit of that in 2020. There was some controversy. Can you speak on that?
Yes, in the 2020 there was this whole Gone with the Wind, cancel Gone with the Wind, and it was a hashtag Oscars so white because there hasn't been a whole lot of progress that has been made since Hattie McDaniel won. But then people wanted to just erase her from history. And that was part of my reasoning for this book because I don't think we should erase history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And people were only looking at the negative aspects of Hattie McDaniel. So I'm hoping to shift that thinking and get people to see her for the legend that she was.
Can you speak to some of the things that you learned during researching that isn't, you know, necessarily public knowledge for everyone?
Well, the Sugar Hill, where the whole name came from, I was stunned to find this out. So Hattie McDaniel was sued by her neighbors in Los Angeles. She lived in a neighborhood called Sugar Hill Mansions, and they sued because there was a little-known law called restrictive covenants, where you could not sell your home to anyone who wasn't of European descent. And so they used that to get Hattie out of the neighborhood. She went to court. They won. They did not expect that in 1940s, and that became the catalyst for a Supreme Court case that overturned restrictive covenants, meaning black people and brown people can live wherever they want because of the efforts of Hattie McDaniel.
So she was just a trailblazer in every sense of the word.
Yes.
How do you feel like Hattie would feel today?
I think she would be very pleased. I told my sister when I finished the book, I said, Hattie is happy. And my sister said, I thought she was dead. She is, but I feel like she is happy because her story is being told and rewritten in a manner that people can see her for the legend that she was.
And now there's actually 2 black women nominated for Best Supporting Actress, and I could just feel Hattie clapping, you know? And now, where can people go to purchase this book?
It is available wherever books are sold, online as well. And I left autographed copies with a bookstore here called Turning Pages. And they are a small independent bookstore that really needs the support. So I left several several autographed copies there, and people can order from there as well.
That's wonderful. And now, what do you hope readers take away from reading this book?
I really do hope that they look at her in a new light. And as she always wanted people to know, she was more than Mammy. And I hope they're able to see that.
Wonderful. Well, Reshonda Tate, thank you so much for joining us today. The Queen of Sugar Hill, a novel of Hattie McDaniel, is available everywhere books are sold. Reshonda, thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
We're back after this.